Good day, and thank you for joining us. In the world of public finance, the duty to pay taxes is non-negotiable, forming the backbone of state revenue. But what mechanisms are set in motion when a taxpayer fails to fulfill this fundamental obligation? Today we will explore in detail the comprehensive process of tax collection enforcement. This process is a legally mandated series of actions taken by the tax authority to ensure that a taxpayer or the tax bearer pays off their outstanding tax liabilities, including penalties and interest. This structure is designed to be graduated, offering multiple opportunities for voluntary compliance before coercive measures are used. The collection process is never initiated without prior notice. It is a structured escalation designed to give the taxpayer every chance to comply voluntarily. The official journey begins once the tax debt has passed. Its payment due date typically a month after a formal assessment letter is issued, such as a notice of tax underpayment assessment. Step 1. The warning letter. If payment is not received by the due date, the tax office will issue a formal warning letter, surat teguran. This letter serves as a final non-coercive reminder. Critically, it gives the taxpayer a grace period, often 21 days, to settle their debt. The warning letter explicitly details the amount owed and sets the stage for the next, more serious action should the debt remain unpaid. If the taxpayer ignores the 21-day deadline set by the warning letter, the collection effort enters the active enforcement stage. The tax authority, through an authorized official known as the state tax bailiff, Jurusita Pajak Negara, will issue and serve the distress warrant or writ of execution, surat paksa. The distress warrant is not just a reminder, it is a powerful legal instrument. In many legal systems, it holds executorial power, meaning its legal standing is equivalent to a court judgment that is already final and binding. This warrant contains an explicit command to pay the tax debt plus collection costs within a very short time frame, usually 2 times 24 hours. The document must be delivered directly to the taxpayer or their representative, often witnessed by local government officials if the taxpayer is absent. The issuance of the distress warrant marks the definitive shift from passive administration to active collection should the taxpayer still fail to settle the debt after the distress warrant has been served. The tax bailiff is legally mandated to proceed with seizure. Pinyitan. This action is carried out to secure the assets that will later be used to pay off the debt. Seizure can target both mobile assets such as cash, precious metals, vehicles, bank account balances, shares, and receivables, and immobile assets like land and buildings. For intangible assets like bank accounts or shares, the bailiff first performs a blockage to freeze the assets, preventing the taxpayer from transferring or liquidating them. A formal warrant of seizure, surat perintah melaksanakan penyitaan, is issued to validate this step. Furthermore, a tax lien may be recorded on real property, making it public record that the state has a claim on that asset. The taxpayer is strictly prohibited from selling, moving, or disposing of these seized goods, as doing so constitutes a criminal act. If the debt remains unpaid after the asset seizure, the final drastic steps are taken. The seized assets are typically held for a mandatory period, often 14 days following seizure, to allow the taxpayer one last chance to pay. If they fail to do so, the assets will be subject to a public auction, lelang. The proceeds from the auction are used to satisfy the tax debt. Collection costs and any remaining balance is returned to the taxpayer. In addition to asset liquidation, the tax authority has measures targeting the taxpayer's freedom of movement and personal liberty. Prevention pencegahan can be proposed, which is a travel ban preventing the taxpayer from traveling outside the country. For severe cases, especially when the taxpayer shows bad faith or attempts to hide assets, the process may conclude with civil detainment or gidzeling, penyandaran. This is a temporary detention of the taxpayer in a designated institution, lasting up to 6 months, with the sole aim of compelling them to pay their overdue taxes. In conclusion, the tax collection process is a systematic application of state power, moving from polite request to legal execution. Taxpayers facing collection must understand these stages and exercise their rights, like applying for installment plans or filing legal Objections to mitigate the most severe consequences. The ultimate lesson remains, prompt and accurate tax compliance is always the easiest route.